Hi, this is Jay, and this is my second entry for our National Bookstore Read Out Loud Challenge. And for this one, I'll be reading from a cool book that I found in the Fully Book in BGC, and I thought the cover was so cool. It's called Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I've only read the first few chapters, so I have no idea how the story is gonna unfold um, after this, but so far I'm liking the story. So I'm gonna pick up from the fourth chapter. So okay, one thing was for sure: there was no way I was gonna ask one of those idiots to help me out with my swimming. It was better to be alone and miserable. It was better to drown. So I just kept to myself and sort of floated along. Not that I was having fun. That's when I heard his voice, kind of squeaky. I can teach you how to swim. I moved over to the side of the pool and stood up in the water, squinting into the sunlight. He sat down on the edge of the pool. I looked at him suspiciously. If a guy was offering to teach me how to swim, then for sure he didn't have a life. Two guys without a life. How much fun could that be? I had a rule that it was better to be bored by yourself than to be bored with someone else. I pretty much lived by that rule. Maybe that's why I didn't have any friends. He looked at me, waiting, and then he asked again. I can teach you how to swim if you want. I kind of liked his voice. He sounded like he had a cold, like he was about to lose his voice. You talk funny, he said. Allergies, he said. What are you allergic to? The air? He said. That made me laugh. My name's Dante, he said. That made me laugh harder. Sorry, I said. It's okay. People laugh at my name. No, I said. See, it's just that my name's Aristotle. His eyes lit up. The guy was ready to listen to every word I said. Aristotle? I repeated. Then we both kind of went a little crazy, laughing. My father's an English professor, he said. At least you have an excuse. My father's a mailman. Aristotle is the English version of my grandfather's name. And then I pronounced my grandfather's name with this really formal Mexican accent. Aristoteles. And my real first name is Angel. And then I said it in Spanish. Angel. Your name's... Your name is Angel Aristotle? Yeah, that's my real name. We laughed again. We couldn't stop. I wondered what it was we were laughing about. Was it just our names? Were we laughing because we were relieved? Were we happy? Laughter was another one of life's mysteries. I used to tell people my name was Dan. I just dropped two letters, but I stopped doing that. It wasn't honest. And anyway, I always got found out. And I feel like a liar and an idiot. I was ashamed of myself for being ashamed of myself. I didn't like feeling like that. He shrugged his shoulders. Everyone calls me Ari, I said. Nice to meet you, Ari. I like the way he said nice to meet you, Ari. Like he meant it. Okay, I said. Teach me how to swim. I guess I said it like I was doing him a favor. He either didn't notice or didn't care. Dante was a very precise teacher. He was a real swimmer. Understood everything about the movements of arms and legs and breathing, understood how a body functioned while it was in the water. Water was something he loved, something he respected. He understood its beauty and its dangers. He talked about swimming as if it were a way of life. He was 15 years old. Who was this guy? He looked a little fragile, but he wasn't. He was disciplined and tough and knowledgeable, and he didn't pretend to be stupid and ordinary. He was neither of those things. He was funny and focused and fierce. The guy could be fierce, and there wasn't anything mean about him. I didn't understand how you could live in a mean world and not have any of that meanness rub off on you. How could a guy live without some meanness? Dante became one more mystery in a universe full of mysteries. All that summer we swam and read comics and read books and argued about them. Dante had all his father's old Superman comics. He loved them. He also liked Archie and Veronica. I hated Archie. It's not, he said. Me, I like Batman, Spider-Man, and the Incredible Hulk. Way too dark, Dante said. This from a guy who loves Conrad's Heart of Darkness? That's different, he said. Conrad wrote literature. I was always arguing that comic books were literature too, but literature was very serious business for a guy like Dante. I don't remember ever winning an argument with him. He was a better debater. He was also a better reader. I read Conrad's book because of him. When I finished reading it, I told him I hated it. Except, I said, it's true, the world is a dark place. Conrad's right about that. Maybe your world, Ari, not mine. Yeah, yeah, I said. Yeah, he said. The truth is, I lied to him. I loved the book. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever read. When my father noticed that what I was reading, he told me it was one of his favorite books. I wanted to ask him if he'd read it before or after he'd fought in Vietnam. It was no good to ask my father questions. He never answered them. I had this idea that Dante read because he liked to read. Me, I read because I didn't have anything else to do. He analyzed things. I just read them. I have a feeling I had to look up more words in the dictionary than he did. I was darker than he was. And I'm not just talking about our skin coloring. He told me I had a tragic vision in life. That's why you like Spider-Man. I'm just more Mexican, I said. Mexicans are tragic people. Maybe so, he said. You're the optimistic American. Is that an insult? It might be, I said. We laughed. We always laugh. We weren't alike, Dante and I, but we did have a few things in common. For one thing, neither of us was allowed to watch television during the day. Our parents didn't like what television did to a boy's mind. We'd both grown up with lectures that sounded more or less like this. You're a boy. Get out there and do something. There's a whole world out there just waiting for you. Dante and I were the last two boys in America who grew up without television. He asked me one day, do you think our parents are right? There's a whole world out there waiting just for us? I doubt it, I said. He laughed. Then he got this idea. Let's try the bus and see what's out there. Dante smiled. We both fell in love with riding the bus. Sometimes we rode around on the bus all afternoon. I told Dante, rich people don't ride the bus. That's why we like it. Maybe so, I said. Are we poor? No. Then he smiled. If we ran away from home, we'd both be poor. I thought that was a very interesting thing to say. Would you ever? He said. Run away? No. Why not? You want me to tell you a secret? Sure. I'm crazy about my mom and dad. That really made me smile. I'd never heard anyone say that about their parents. I mean, no one was crazy about their parents, except Dante. And then he whispered in my ear, that lady 2 seats in front of us, I think she's having an affair. How do you know? I whispered. She took off her wedding band as she got on the bus. I nodded and smiled. We made up stories about the other bus riders. For all we knew, they were writing stories about us. I never really been close to other people. I was pretty much a loner. I played basketball and baseball and done the Cub Scout thing, tried the Boy Scout thing, but I always kept my distance from the other boys. I never ever felt like I was part of their world. Boys. I watched them, studied them. In the end, I didn't find most of the guys that surrounded me very interesting. In fact, I was pretty disgusted. Maybe I was a little superior. But I don't think I was superior. I just didn't understand how to talk to them, how to be myself around them. Being around other guys didn't make me feel smarter. Being around guys made me feel stupid and inadequate. It was like they were all a part of this club and I wasn't a member. When I was old enough for Boy Scouts, I told my dad I wasn't gonna do it. I couldn't stand it anymore. Give it a year, my dad said. My dad knew that I sometimes liked to fight. He was always giving me lectures about physical violence. He was trying to keep me away from the gangs at my school. He was trying to keep me from becoming like my brother, who wound up in prison. So because of my brother, whose existence was not even acknowledged, I had to be a good Boy Scout. That sucked. Why did I have to be a good boy just because I had a bad boy brother? I hated the way my mom and dad did family math. I humored my dad. I gave it a year. I hated it, except that I learned how to do CPR. I mean, I didn't like the bit about having to breathe into someone else's mouth. That sort of freaked me out. For some reason, the whole thing fascinated me, how you could get a heart to start again. I didn't quite understand the science of it, but after I got a patch for learning how to bring someone back to life, I quit. I came home and gave the patch to my dad. I think you're making a mistake. That's all my dad said. I'm not gonna wind up in the slammer. That's what I wanted to say. Instead, I just mouthed up, if you make me go back, I swear I'll start smoking pot. My father gave me a strange look. It's your life, he said. Like, that was really true. And another thing about my father, he didn't give lectures, not real ones. Which pissed me off. He wasn't a mean guy and he didn't have bad temper. He spoke in short sentences. It's your life, give it a try. You sure you want to do that? Why couldn't he just talk? How was I supposed to know him when he didn't let me? I hated that. I got along okay, I had school friends, sort of. I wasn't wildly popular. How could I be? In order to be wildly popular, you had to make people believe that you were fun and interesting. I just wasn't that much of a con artist. There were a couple of guys I used to hang around with, the Gomez brothers, but they moved away, and there were a couple of girls, Gina Navarro and Susie Bird, who liked to torment me as a hobby. Girls. They were mysteries too. Everything was a mystery. I guess it didn't have it so bad. Maybe everybody didn't love me, but I wasn't one of those kids that everyone hated either. I was good in a fight, so people left me alone. I was mostly invisible. I think I liked it that way. And then Dante came along. I like the story for so far. And in a way, I kind of identify with Ari, and I can see myself. I understand how he feels. But anyways, that's just me. So, I hope you like this my second entry for the Read Out Loud challenge, and I hope to see you on the next video. So, thanks for watching.